Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about Dragonflight, and more specifically we're going to talk about Dragonflight Season 3, which is coming to the game in patch 10.2, Guardians of the Dream. And in this video we're going to go through everything that is coming in this brand new Dragonflight season, which is launching extremely soon. But before we jump into that, guys, I just want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, Dragonflight PTR, and more, over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. Right, so yes, patch 10.2 is among us very, very soon, and with this brand new patch comes a brand new season, complete with everything that you'd expect from a Dragonflight season. This is Season 3 of Dragonflight, potentially the last season. We might get a Season 4, which would be similar to like a Fated season in Shadowlands, but we'll have to see what happens with that. So let's start by talking about when this is releasing. So Season 3 of Dragonflight will start on November 14th in the NA region and November 15th in the EU. Patch 10.2, Guardians of the Dream, does release a week before on November 7th and 8th, depending on your region. So let's just jump straight into what is coming in this patch, and we're going to start by talking about gearing in Season 3. So gearing is staying pretty much the same as Season 2 in regards to the kind of upgrading system and things like that, but there is some nuance that's changing here with Season 3, which we're going to talk about right now. So Flightstones. Flightstones are staying in Season 3. Now, the one thing we don't know, or the one thing I couldn't find on the blue post, is whether or not Flightstones will be wiped at the start of Season 3. Now, on the PTR, they don't get wiped when you copy your character, but the PTR is just a strange test environment, so I don't really know what's going on with that. And there doesn't seem to be any clarification whether or not Flightstones are staying. So I would say right now, until we get a clarification through a blue post or something like that, don't spend your Flightstones, just cap them out ready for the start of Season 3. But if they wipe them, they will probably just be converted to gold, and you have to build up the cap once again. Now, one thing that is changing is crests. So in Season 3, we are getting new crests. These are the Dreaming crests. Now, the big changes here is the fact that fragments have now been removed, so you won't be putting together fragments to make crests. These crests are also now in the currency tab, so they no longer take up inventory space. Yep, that's the best change of them all. And what's really cool about these new crests is that they can actually be upgraded, so your Whelp crest can turn to Drake, Drake to Worm, Worm to Aspect, etc. So the way Blizzard are doing this is that you can trade 90 of a lower crest to upgrade it to 15 of the next level of crest. Now, you can't just do that from the get-go. You do need to complete some prerequisites before you can start doing that, so you kind of graduate through the different crest levels. So for example, to gain access to upgrade a Whelp crest to a Drake crest in Season 3, what you got to do is get item level 450 on all of your slots of gear. Once you've done that, that'll unlock a new achievement, and that will give the ability to trade 90 Whelp fragments for 15 Drake. Now, for Drake to Worm, you're going to need an item level at least of 463 on all of your items, and then Worm to Aspect, you're going to need at least item level 476 on all of your slots of gear to unlock that final upgrade path. So a pretty interesting system here. Curious how it is going to work out. Hopefully they don't cheese it or anything like that. I'm assuming rings and trinkets can be maybe cheesed or something like that, you know, like back in the day when you did the item level achievements, but we'll have to see what's happening with that. But essentially, once all of your items have reached that minimum item level, you can start upgrading crests, which is actually going to be super nice in Season 3. Now, you're probably wondering what's happening to old crests. Well, they're now vendor trash, so yeah, they're just going to be grey items that you can sell to a vendor at the start of Season 3, so yeah. Also, the hero upgrade track in Season 3 is now 6 instead of 5, and the myth upgrade track is now 4 instead of 3. Also in Season 3, tier sets will be returning, of course. We're going to get class tier sets from the brand new raid, which we'll talk about in a minute, but of course we're getting all of the new appearances, which are Emerald Dream themed. Some of them look good, some of them look not so good, but of course we'll have set bonuses and things like that with these tier sets as well. Speaking of tier sets, another thing returning is the Dragonflight Master Achievement. So this is a new one for Season 3, and the requirement for this is either to complete Heroic Amirdrassil, get Keystone Master, or Challenger Rank 2 in rated PvP. Now, the reward for this is the Emerald Mark of Mastery, and this is an item that can be traded for any heroic tier piece. So this was a system which was introduced last season, and it is returning in Season 3. And finally, the last thing on tier sets is the Catalyst. The Revival Catalyst is back once again, and this time, very different. So, from week 1 of Season 3, you will be able to use the Catalyst, and what will happen is every 2 weeks, you will get a new charge at the Catalyst. There's no quests, there's no requirements, this will just naturally build up over time. So yes, from week 1 of Season 3 on November 14th or 15th, you'll be able to catalyze a piece of gear into Season 3 tier, which is exciting. Moving into PvP gearing specifically, PvP gear in Season 3 will be upgraded through Flight Stones and Crests. Originally, this was Honor, so that's a huge change. And now PvP activities will also reward Flight Stones, and Crests can also be earned through rated PvP. So Flight Stone and Crests will now be used in PvP, which would be an interesting change. Not sure how that's going to work out in the end, but yes, a big change in Season 3 for PvP gearing. Moving into professions in Season 3, we will be getting a new spark in Season 3. This is the Spark of Dreams. This comes from the Emerald Dream and comes from everyone's favorite character from the Shadowlands, Lady Moonberry. So you'll be getting that quest presumably on week 1 of Season 3. This will obviously give you a new spark to use in crafting. Along with that, of course, Enchanted Crest will be returning with new Season 3 item levels to upgrade and craft future profession gear. And finally on gearing, a really nice little change here is that old upgradable gear will actually be indicated on the tooltip. So when you hover over a Season 2 piece of Dragonflight gear, saying that it is from Dragonflight Season 2. Now, one final note on the Season 2 gear is that this gear will still be able to be upgraded in Season 3. Obviously, once you start getting more Season 3 gear, the Season 2 gear will be such a low item level that you won't need crests to upgrade it. So as soon as you start getting Season 3 gear, Season 2 gear will just be Flight Stones to upgrade it. Also in Season 3, sticking with gearing, the Great Vault is getting some really cool changes actually for a lot more casual players. So the Mythic Dungeon row has now been renamed to Dungeons, and you can now expect Heroic, Mythic 0, and Time Walking Dungeons to now unlock rewards on the Great Vault. Now, we don't know the specifics of the item levels here because Season 3 hasn't been activated on the PTR, but we can expect it probably to be pretty low, maybe like LFR, slightly lower potentially, but these rewards will pull from the Mythic Plus item pool and not the ones from like the Time Walking Dungeons and things like that. Time Walking Dungeons will also count as Heroic. Also, with a new Dragonflight season is a new season of Mythic Plus. This season of Mythic Plus will have a brand new dungeon rotation of 8 dungeons, some from the present and some from the past. So our new Season 3 Mythic Plus dungeons are Dawn of the Infinite's Galakrond's Fall, Dawn of the Infinite's Morizan's Rise, Waycrest Manor from Battle for Azeroth, Atul Dazar from Battle for Azeroth, Darkheart Thicket from Legion, Blackrook Hold from Legion, the Everbloom from Warlords of Draenor, and Throne of the Tides from Cataclysm. So 2 new dungeons coming into the Mythic Plus rotation for the very first time in the Everbloom and Throne of the Tides. Throne of the Tides and Everbloom will have some changes to those dungeons in regards to Mythic Plus, which is very exciting. So some interesting additions there, of course, with the Mega Dungeon being split into 2 and thrown into the Mythic Plus rotation. Of course, with Mythic Plus as well, we're going to be getting some new achievements. So the Keystone Conqueror achievement for Season 3 will reward the title The Dreaming. The Keystone Master achievement for Season 3 will reward the Verdant Armredon. This is a green version of the Mythic Plus mount we've been getting all Dragonfly. Unfortunately, it was originally the Dream Stag, but it ended up being this thing in the end, which is a little bit disappointing. So yeah, there's your Keystone Master mount. And of course, for the top 0.1% of Mythic Plus players, the Dreaming Hero title will be rewarded to you at the end of Season 3. And of course, all of the portals and things like that will be unlockable through Mythic Plus. So pretty much your standard season. Doesn't seem like there's many changes to affixes in general and things like that. Just pretty much Season 2, but with a new dungeon rotation. Moving on into the new raid of Season 3, this is going to be Amirdrassil, the Dream's Hope. Now, this is located in the Emerald Dream and will take you through 9 bosses, through a dragon facility, and then all around and on top of Amirdrassil, the World Tree. So some very interesting encounters here, some that involve dragon riding, which is super exciting. The last boss of this raid is Farak the Blazing, which is of course Farak. This fight was not tested on the PTR and occurs at the top of Amirdrassil. So it'd be very interesting to see what this fight's like when the season starts on November 14th. The release schedule for the raid has changed up a little bit this time, with the first week of the season having normal, heroic, and mythic, of course, and Raid Finder Wing 1, but the Raid Finder release schedule is slightly different. So 1 week later, we will actually get Raid Finder Wing 2, a week after that, we'll get Raid Finder Wing 3, and then 2 weeks after that, we will get the final wing of Raid Finder. So yeah, normal, heroic, and mythic will be released on day 1 of the season, and of course, the start of the Race to World first. Of course, with all the difficulties, we're going to have different loot droppings. So on LFR, you're going to be getting Veteran Track gear. This starts at item level 441 and is upgradable to 463. Normal will be dropping Champion gear starting at 454 and ending at 476. 6. Heroic will drop hero gear, starting at 467 and ending at 483, and then Mythic will start at item level 480 and ending at 489. Also from this raid, we can expect some customizations for our Drakes. So on all difficulties from Farak, we will be getting a regular Farak model for our renewed Proto Drake. This is going to be a full transformation. But also from ahead of the curve, from completing the raid on Heroic, you will be getting the Shadow Flame version of Farak for your renewed Proto Drake as well, which is super cool. And for Mythic Raiders only, there's also going to be the first non-dragon dragon riding mount. This is a Nurelo's Flames Guardian. This will drop from Mythic Farak only. As mentioned, this is our first non-dragon dragon riding mount. This uses the new Owl model from the Emerald Dream and kind of a flame variety of it. Also, getting this mount will unlock a custom Druid flight form. So if you're a Druid and a Mythic Raider and lucky enough to get the drop, you're going to get a new flight form as well from this mount, which is really cool. As you can expect from a new raid comes a new Glory achievement. The reward from this is the Reigns of the Shadow Dusk Dream Saber, which uses the new Dream Saber model of the Emerald Dream, which is very nice. And as mentioned earlier, this is where you're going to be getting a lot of your class tier sets in Season 3. And finally, the last notable drop is a brand new two-handed legendary axe. Now, this is a strength axe available to Death Knights, Paladins, and Warriors. We don't know too much about this at all. We don't have it data mined or anything like that. We know what it looks like. It's the axe that Frack uses in the cutscene. It's a very cool looking axe, and as mentioned, we don't know any of the stats, so we don't know any of the on uses or anything like that, but we certainly will know more about that when the season starts on November 14th. Also in the Emerald Dream, we will be getting a new world boss in the form of Urustar, the Hibernating. He's going to drop 460 champion gear. This is going to be upgradable to 476. Will be located in the Emerald Dream once the season begins. So keep an eye out for him if you want to get a chance at that champion level gear. Kind of staying on Outside World content. Outside World content will be getting an upgrade in Season 3, which is really nice to see. So in Season 3, all of the outdoor world activities, including the ones from like Dragonflight launch, will be getting an upgrade in regards to the rewards that they're giving. So the outdoor world activities include World Quests, the Dragonbane Keep, the Centaur Hunts, Farak Assaults, Researchers Under Fire, Time Rifts, and Dream Surges. So the rewards you can expect from this are on repeat goes, you'll be getting Explorer gear. This is item level 415 to 437. Then ones with a weekly quest and things like that will be giving Adventurer gear, which is item level 428 to 450. Also, Time Rifts and Dream Surges will be getting a new currency in 10.2. This is so that you don't stock up the currency now, and then when the patch launches, you just buy a load of the new items and things like that. So they're going to be dropping a new currency in 10.2, and all of their related vendors will have increased item level rewards that you can buy as well. So some really great changes for outdoor world players. So finally, let's talk about the Season 3 PvP season. So of course, with this new season, we are going to be getting new seasonal mounts. So the vicious mounts for Season 3 are the Moon Beast mounts. Now you can expect a Alliance version, of course, decked out in Alliance theming, and of course a Horde version, both of which will be available through the normal means of getting vicious mounts. Also as well, we are getting a Gladiator mount. So this is actually a full transformation for the Slither Drake once again. This is a kind of green version of the mount that we got previously. Looks very cool. Kind of interesting that we didn't get a customization for the new Drake, but yeah, Slither Drake getting another new Gladiator skin in Season 3. And as mentioned before, PvP gearing is changing a little bit in regards to items being now upgradable through Flight Zones and Crests. Also, if you're a World PvP enjoyer and a Transmog enjoyer, you'll now be able to purchase the old World PvP sets from Dragonflight for bloody tokens. So keep an eye out for that vendor in Valdrakken. And finally, for PvP, this is actually a really cool change. So in Season 3, you will be able to send 1500 honor to alts for the price of 2000. So if you have a capped out character on honor, you can just use some of that honor to send to some of your other characters, which is really cool. So you can buy an account bound token and just send that over to your alts to gain honor for free, which is really cool. And of course, with a new season, we're not expecting an honor reset, but we are expecting a conquest reset. So make sure you use your conquest before the end of Season 2. One final thing I wanted to mention with PvP is the Battleground Brawl Blitz. So this is essentially a testing ground for a future potential rated Battleground solo or duo queue, and it does say on the website that it launches on November 7th, which is actually week 1 of the patch, but in the image it does state Season 3, so I'm going to mention it here. So the description of this brawl is that players will be able to queue either solo or duo if one player is a healer for epic 8v8 PvP action in a fast and furious action on one of 8 initial available maps: Wilson Gulch, Twin Peaks, Temple of Kot Mogu, Eye of the Storm, Silver Shard Mines, Battle for Gilneas, Arathi Basin, and and Deepwing Gorge. The Battleground Blitz will be active as an available Brawl every week from the time of its release on November 7th. So yeah, as mentioned, it says on the website November 7th, but yeah, I'll throw it in the end here, just in case it does come in Season 3. And that's it. That is everything coming in Dragonflight Season 3. As mentioned, Season 3 coming up real soon on November 14th and 15th. I'm looking forward to it. Seasons are always fun. There's some really great changes for Outdoor World content, some new additions for casual content, and of course, a bunch of new things in regards to the Raid and the Mythic Plus season, and just some really cool changes overall coming in Season 3. So yeah, there you go, guys. Let me know down below what you think of Dragonflight Season 3. What's your favorite part of it? What change do you like? What change do you don't like? So if you like this video, leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon and I'm on Twitter at MrGMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And as mentioned, I am streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. It's been really fun on stream recently. We've been checking out retail stuff. We've also been checking out the 10.2 PTR, obviously 10.25 coming up as well, and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, if you want to check me out on stream, guys, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.